Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to tackle a massive issue that has challenged India for decades: unemployment. It's got so many different layers, so let's start peeling them back.
Okay, let's kick things off with a bit of a puzzle. It seems like a simple question, right? But in India, the answer is, well, it's not so simple. And it gets right to the heart of how we even measure this whole problem. So keep this question in your head as we go through this. All right, first things first, we need to be on the same page. Officially, this is what unemployment means. You have to be in the working age bracket, you have to be willing and able to work for the going rate, but you just can't find a paying job. It sounds straightforward, but as we'll see, it gets tricky.
Now here's the thing about unemployment in India. It's not one single story. It's really two completely different tales. One is playing out across the vast countryside, and the other is happening in the loud, bustling cities.
And you can really see that split right here. Out in the villages, unemployment is often tied to the farming seasons. Sometimes it's kind of hidden. You don't even see it in the official numbers. But in the cities, it's much more out in the open. It's a struggle that hits everyone, from factory workers to brand new college grads.
So remember that question we started with? This is where it all comes together. This idea of disguised unemployment is a huge deal, especially in rural India. It's this weird situation where people look like they're working, but their job doesn't actually add any value. They're kind of unemployed, but in plain sight.
This is a perfect way to picture it. Look at this farm. Let's say it only needs 4 people to get everything done efficiently. But you've got 6 family members all out there working the land. Those 2 extra people, they aren't actually making the farm produce more. If they just stopped working, the harvest would be exactly the same. That, right there, is disguised unemployment.
Okay, so that's the rural picture. Now let's head to the cities, where we find a totally different kind of problem. And it's a growing one: educated unemployment. This is when you have people with degrees, with all these qualifications, who just can't find a job that actually uses their skills. And this creates this really strange paradox. On the one hand, you've got a flood of people graduating with certain skills. But on the other hand, you have whole industries that are desperate for workers with a completely different set of skills. It's a huge mismatch between what's being taught and what the economy actually needs.
You know, there's a name for this. Economists call it structural unemployment. This diagram nails it. You might have a ton of unemployed mechanics looking for work, but all the job openings are for IT experts. The skills people have just don't line up with the jobs that exist.
Okay, so we've got the different kinds of unemployment down. But just how big of a deal are we talking about? Let's get into the numbers to see the real scale of this challenge.
Whoa, just look at that number. At its peak, back in 2004-05, we're talking about almost 35 million people who were officially unemployed in India. That just gives you a sense of the staggering scale of the problem.
And this table, it really lays out the whole roller coaster ride. You can see the numbers climbing and climbing to that peak in the mid-2000s. Then things get a bit better, but then they start creeping up again. It's a really clear sign that this isn't a one-and-done problem. It's a persistent, tough challenge.
So you see those numbers and you have to ask, right? Why is this happening? What are the root causes pushing these figures up?
It's really like a perfect storm of issues all hitting at once. You've got a population that's been growing like crazy, so more people are looking for work every single year. But the economy hasn't always grown fast enough to create jobs for them all. Then you throw in the fact that farming is seasonal, a lot of smaller, traditional industries have faded, and then you have this thing called jobless growth, where the economy gets bigger, but no new jobs appear. It's a recipe for a crisis.
And you know, a massive piece of this puzzle is the education system itself. One study found that a full third of educated young people in India can't find a job because they just don't have the practical skills employers are looking for. 1/3. That's a huge disconnect between the classroom and the real world.
And a problem this big, well, it doesn't just exist in a vacuum. It sends out these huge ripple effects across the whole country. This is why it's a big deal for everyone.
Honestly, the costs are just devastating. It's a massive waste of human talent and potential. It's a direct pipeline to poverty. And it puts a heavy, heavy burden on the entire country, because the people who are working have to support those who aren't. It holds everybody back.
Okay, so the problem is huge. The causes are deep, so what's the plan? How do you even begin to tackle something like this?
Well, the approach is kind of split into 2 parts. You've got the long game and you've got the short game. The long game is about fixing the big fundamental stuff, like supercharging economic growth and totally reforming education. The short game is about creating jobs and helping people right now.
So for the countryside specifically, the game plan is all about not putting all your eggs in one basket, right? It's about shifting people from just farming to other things like small local industries. It's about developing related businesses like dairy farming, improving irrigation so you can grow more than one crop a year, and creating public works projects like building roads to give people jobs during the off-season.
And probably the biggest, most well-known effort to do this is a government program called MGNREGS. It's this massive social safety net, and it's designed to be a lifeline for households in rural India.
And this right here is the heart of the whole thing. 100 days. The program basically promises every rural family at least 100 days of paid work a year. It's a crucial buffer, a way to fight back against extreme poverty and that seasonal unemployment we talked about. And all of this leaves us with one last big question to chew on. As millions and millions more young people get ready to join the workforce, is the real challenge just making more jobs? Or is it about making the right jobs? The kind of jobs that will power India's future and actually match the incredible potential of its people?